excited to chat with you here, Dalton. We've got, transfer portal madness on our hands still technically. Portal closing up tomorrow, so going to be seeing the last of the names that are going to be in the portal, filing their way in and making that decision. Got an NBA happening right now. My Lakers just beat your Rockets in game 1 because KD had to sit out. So excited to see how that series can go now with the
we might get swept, bro. Just going to be honest with you. This team decided to try to create a contender with zero shooting. And I just don't want to talk about it, man.
Told you KD wasn't enough when Van Fleet went down.
Well, KD by himself was never enough. You needed to make other moves, and they just stood pat at the deadline and said, you know what, we're good. In other words, no, they're not. But there is a lot to talk about. Pretty quiet on the transfer portal front over the past couple days. The major news over the weekend, Adrian Woolley is back for his junior season. We'll talk about that. Whether or not he is a penciled-in starter for next season. John Blackwell is, I would assume at this very moment, still on his visit to Duke. He's set to visit Louisville on Tuesday, hoping that he arrives in the Derby City and doesn't cancel that visit. We'll talk about a couple of front court pieces that Louisville is apparently going after. One of them set to be on campus this week. Gabe Dines, 7'5" center. Rome, who's the last player that's been close to that height? Was it, Mott Stockman? Honest Mahmoud?
Honest or Stockman for sure.
Stockman was what, 7'2"?
Yep. Honest was 7'4"?
No.
7'2".
No. Honest was...
Oh, he's 6'11". You're right. They don't even think
he might have been 7 foot, but he definitely wasn't 7'4".
Probably both wrong. Probably was like 7'1". But Stockman was 7'2".
Yeah, Stockman was 7'2". I can't think of anyone else, like in the past 10 years, that was over 7 foot tall.
Yeah, like Enoch, Malik, all those guys were like 6'11", right on the cusp.
6'10", 6'11". Withers was, 6'9", 6'10". Huntley Hatfield, 6'10". I don't think we've had anyone over 7 feet tall.
7 foot.
Gabe was what? Gabe Wisnitzer was, 6'10"?
They give an honest Mamu 7 foot even.
Okay, yeah. So I was right. I said 7 foot.
I don't know why I always think he was 7'4".
I have no clue. But, yeah, Gabe Dimes would be the tallest player at Louisville probably in my lifetime. Yak Yak is also a name that could be in the mix for the Cardinals. We will, at the end of the show, get into some spring game reaction. Unless, hopefully, Rome, you know what? I walked into the studio saying, let's speak it into existence. Iowa forward Alvaro Folgueras commits during the show. We're going to speak it into existence. Say it with me. I need to hear you say it, Rome.
Did you listen to Mike's show today?
No.
He's apparently, according to Mike, he's already committed.
Let me rephrase. Publicly committed. Because I've heard the rumors. I've been in the 1912 Discord, and if you haven't tuned into that, I definitely recommend that you do. But, Doc. Texter says, don't be stingy. Tell me I'm cute. Rome?
Doc, you know you're the cutest.
Not buying it. Anyway, definitely tune in to 1912. At the very least, you can have some fun.
Make it happen, Alvaro.
You can have some fun at the expense of Mr. Doc. But yes, speaking into existence.
We need to get his agent on the show. We need to get his agent on the show and be like, yo.
How long would that show be then?
What's the whole... Get his agent on the show. It'll take 3
Mondays with Dalton Pence doesn't end until Friday. In May. Oaks. Listen, I feel like the vibes are aligning for an in-show commitment. I showed you the receipt, Rome. You can speak to it.
It's been a minute. We've had a couple on the Mondays with Dalton Pence show. I think they've all been football?
No, we had the Woolley one. Remember that? When
Was Woolley during the show?
Yeah, Adrian Woolley committed because you played the music that scared the life out of me.
Oh, you're right.
It was like really loud, and I was like, what in the world? And it was Woolley committing. So if you see it before I do, full send that instrumental. But I told you the vibes are feeling different, Roman. I truly believe it because you saw the receipt that I showed you before I got here. What did it say? Where did I eat right before this?
It was a burger spot.
Did you already forget?
I did.
You're serious?
I have a lot going on in the brain right now.
Listen, man.
I was looking at what you ordered and what you spent because I thought that was going to be like the.
No. It was where I went. I don't even care about what I spent.
I've already forgotten what you. What,
Dizzy Whiz, bro. The vibes are just different here on this April 20th edition of the show. Vibes are just different. Got my Dizzy Whiz
today.
I don't know, man. My running joke line is that if you're going to be able to afford John Blackwell, you better have an awful lot of Dizzy Whiz gift cards. Can confirm that I did not see anyone walk in or out of Dizzy Whiz with a duffel bag full of gift cards. So take that information how you will. But, bro, 2 bacon cheeseburgers and 2 fries for $10, it's a steal. And it was fire. So vibes are just good, man. 502-414-1450, the Gameday Men's Health text line. 502-414-1450 to get any thoughts in on this week's edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence. With Dalton and Rome taking you up till 7 o'clock tonight. Rome, let's start out here because I'm going to hold off on the Blackwell talk until the top of the hour. Let's start with Adrian Woolley. If I were to ask you...
Big AD! Staying home. This is huge, Dalton. But what are you going to ask me? Sorry to interrupt you there.
Do you see the text? You see that? Oh, Lord. Doc. Poor Doc. I think the Doc hate is so forced.
He's doing the best he can.
Until I speak to Doc, and I'm like, no, it's justified. Doc is mean to me, though. But today's April 20th. If I were to ask you, Rome, on March 20th, let's rewind about a month. If I were to ask you on that day, hey, give me a percentage of how confident you feel that Adrian Woolley is going to be back at Louisville, what would your percentage have been?
What was the time frame?
A month ago today.
March 20th. 20% chance.
I was probably even lower. I was probably like 10%. Because you saw, even before the season ended, there were rumblings that at least one SEC program, potentially multiple, were trying to lure the Tuscaloosa native into the portal with a lot of money. I thought that this was going to be his one and only season. Texter says, pulling out the old pitchfork and torch if no Alvaro commitment by 7. Hashtag locked on Dalton. Sheesh.
We gotta bring this commitment home, Dalton.
Oh, dude. No doubt. Unfortunately, it seems like he's been, commitment tomorrow for, half a week now. Wrong answers only.
His agent must just be, on a beach somewhere.
Wrong answers only, Rome. What's holding up the commitment? Wrong answers only. Agent got stuck in the can opener?
Agent still up in Iowa somehow, dealing with a woman he's met.
Oh, okay.
They're having some kind of issues, and he's not allowed to leave town.
It's a little bit more surface level than I was looking for, but hey, it's your imagination.
If the agent's just slow to get things done,
try this.
Be stopping him?
Agent infuriated that there's no current plan to bring the silos back, thus holding the commitment over the governor or the mayor's head to get the silos put back up.
I think the agent was at Coachella, maybe.
Do you think the agent was at Thunder over Louisville?
That could make sense.
Mike would say, I don't want to take his thunder, no pun intended, but maybe he's committing at the Balloon Glow. Maybe he's the Riders Up guy. All pretty believable if you ask me. See, I was going for something like that rather than the relationship issues that you were talking about.
I think the guy's stranded somewhere.
Without cell service?
I think he forgot to pay his phone bill, and we can't get the agent on the phone. Alvaro's in town, maybe even. I felt like he hasn't even
still
left
in town.
campus.
He's still in town.
He's still he's practicing already.
Dude's still at the Galt House as we speak.
He's already getting shots up, and they haven't even heard from the agent. And neither has Alvaro.
You think at that point he'd just commit?
He's wondering if he needs a new agent because nobody can get him on the phone.
I represent myself.
Texter says it has to be visa issues, right? We don't know someone. Don't we know someone in Washington? I hear the welcome bribes. He just played college ball last year.
How often do visas expire? Like, I'm just completely asking for my own knowledge. I have no clue.
I don't know if he's getting a work visa, a school visa, or like an athletic job type of, like if he's a professional athlete type of visa.
You don't really,
you
don't really see this.
Like, is he studying abroad technically? I don't know.
You don't really see this often, like visas holding something up.
Not in your.
This is his third. Well, technically, this would be his fourth season of coming.
In year one of being in the States trying to play college basketball, you can make sense. The same thing happened with Zugas. We got a commitment, and we kind of got word that Frew and Zugas were going to be committed before we got the announcements. That is expected with guys making the transition over here. He's already been here. He's already done this.
Okay, this doesn't help at all. This is AI overview. International visa duration varies wildly based on type and country, ranging from a few days to 10 years. Okay. So that doesn't help me at all.
They're usually like a 1 year thing if you're on like a work deal. You can get 1 year.
I have no clue.
Work deals.
That's why I asked, because I have no clue.
But he's a student technically, so I don't know how that works.
Wouldn't you think that
he's studying abroad?
Let me ask you this: like, wouldn't that be somewhat public? Maybe not public knowledge, but don't you think that would have been mentioned by now?
I feel like it's something if there was any pathway of there being an issue, we would have gotten word.
Yeah, like once he entered the portal, like there would have to be some sort of like somebody would have
Jeff Goodman or somebody
would have leaked it by now.
It's also like there's not anything to hide. If you're rightfully in a spot to earn another year as a foreign prospect, you want everybody in the NCAA to know as soon as possible that you're trying to acquire that and get that done. So,
or maybe it was kind of already common knowledge behind the scenes
that he had to redo.
But then again, like
reapply or something like that.
Wouldn't you have heard that though? I feel like you would have.
Not if it's an agent that doesn't answer the phone. If it's an agent who's got some European phone service and he didn't pay his phone bill or his WhatsApp not working over here or something.
Here you go with the beyond surface level talk. You don't just have what's going wrong. You have why it's going wrong.
Clearly, he lost the login to his WhatsApp. I don't know why an agent would be holding up something to do with an official commitment from a player. I feel like if the player is committed, then you've already agreed on everything. And if you've already agreed on everything, there isn't any reason to hold back a public announcement.
What's holding back? That's
the thing with one part of it that's not agreed on, right? And
but if he's committed, then he's obviously agreed on something.
Mm-hmm.
Texter says, I work with people who deal with visa issues. Sometimes they have to randomly go back to their home country for a month or so to get things worked out.
Markkinen had to go do that for the military stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Kim Min-sung had to go do that a few years back.
I'm not going to act like I understand how that process works, so I don't really feel comfortable speaking on it, but I just felt like we would have heard something about it if that was the case. Like, you would have heard more about it. There have been rumblings, but nothing truly confirmed. And speculating on it, it's tough anyway, right? So, we'll see. Like I said, we are hoping to speak a Fulgaris commitment into existence before 7 o'clock tonight, Eastern Time. And if we succeed, then hey, we'll react. And if we don't, well, blame Matt for not being here. You don't have 3 people speaking it into existence. But okay, back to the Adrian Woolley point that I was making. It seemed like the belief heading into the end of the season and at the end of the season, it felt like he was gone. That's the vibe that I got. And when the portal opened, he didn't enter his name. And about a week later, I'm thinking to myself, is this door really shut? Like, why is he not in the portal? If he was 100% gone, wouldn't he have entered already? And then the beliefs started to grow. The optimism started to grow.
He want to be here.
He wants to be here. And all of a sudden, it goes from, well, he's not going to be back to home. It's more than likely he's going to be back.
The leading scorer at the moment.
And Saturday morning, you get the announcement. Rome, what fascinates me about the discussion surrounding Adrian Woolley is how different the opinions are. Vastly different.
On his
game.
Oh, okay.
You have one portion of the fan base who believes that, well, this is a guy that looked like our best player down the stretch. I mean, he had the game-winning shot at Miami in the regular season finale. He scored double digits against SMU in the ACC tournament, had 17 against Michigan State in that loss. Like, he looked pretty comfortable.
And then there's guys that think he shouldn't have the basketball in his hands as a decision maker at this level.
Well,
all because of a few turnovers out of position?
I think you have to explain that a little further. And I will here in just a second. But you have another portion of this fan base that says, well, you can't be a contender if he's in your rotation. And I disagree with that. Is he a starting two guard with the way things currently stand?
I'll go into that too as well.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the point that you just made about being a lead ball handler. Is that what you're referring to? I don't think he is. I think the data, and at the Best Wager on Twitter, great follow for advanced metrics and analytics.
Great sports guy.
Yeah, no, 100%.
If it's not the betting stuff or the analytics stuff, just great takes all around usually.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree at all. But I've got to pull this tweet up that they posted. This is, I'm reading from the excerpt here. This is like the off-season preview. This is a direct excerpt. He's elite as a cutter, shooting 84.6% on cuts to the rim. He's also elite as a spot-up shooter, 1.289 points per possession, 50% from three on real volume. We're going to end the excerpt there. What does that tell you, Rome?
A player that should be scoring the basketball.
In spot-up situations, that means you are getting the ball with your feet set, ready to shoot. I think he specializes as an off-ball scorer. I don't think that there's anything wrong with admitting that he's not a true point guard. He never was a true point guard. Can he play point guard at times? Yeah. I'm not saying that if he plays point guard for 5 minutes per game that you're automatically going to lose.
But the kid clearly has elite footwork and elite decision-making as an off-ball scoring threat.
But that doesn't mean that you have to be a point guard, though. I think that he excels with a good point guard next to him, like Ryan Conwell did, like Isaac McNeely did.
Yes.
So
that worries me about the last point you made, but I don't know. Now, do I think Adrian Woolley can be a starting two guard on a contending Final Four caliber team? I do.
It depends on who's around
alongside of a 6-foot guard, 6'1" guard who's
all right, let me ask you this. Here's your starting five, okay? You tell me if this is a true contender. Shelstad, Woolley, Knox, Fulgaris, Badunga. That's your starting five. Is that a national championship contender?
No.
I agree.
I think there's teams in the Elite Eight this season that didn't have as good as starting fives as that, but that's not a Final Four's national title contender.
Now, let me ask you this as a follow-up. Would Shelstad, Blackwell, Knox, Fulgaris, Badunga with Woolley as a 6-man or 7th-man be a contender?
I don't view that as a more dangerous team than the 4 teams that were in the Final Four, but I want to lean yes.
Oh, I think it's 100% a contender. I think here's the thing. I almost feel like that Michigan team was an outlier. How many times are you going to be able to run that team out there where you have a 7'3" center, a 6'11" power forward, and you go get the best transfer to ever enter the portal at 6'9" and start all 3 of them, and all of those skill sets complement one another? It just doesn't seem that's not going to be a norm. That's an exception.
I mean, there's
same thing with
what
I think
7'4"
Arizona.
kids. What 7'4" kids are starting caliber players?
I think Arizona's going to. I think Arizona was. Now, look, you're going to have different variations of teams. Like, teams are going to be really good, but I don't think that there is going to be a Michigan next year. There's going to be some really good teams, but
I don't think Arizona builds that good of a roster on that play style again.
But I do think bank on like that.
Illinois and UConn, those roster constructions, that nearly perfect balance with your key 6-7 guys, that's what's going to be going forward, I think.
Maybe, but don't forget, Illinois had a really good run to the Final Four, but the regular season was kind of up and down.
It was.
You kind of have to wonder, okay, this team caught fire at the end of the season.
The Wagler kid wasn't playing as much. They had some couple rotation changes, but you're right. They had to figure it out.
Are they going to be able to replicate that?
They didn't look like a Final Four team in January. I can say that.
Or even in February at times. Like, this is the tough part. Is like, okay, like the non-1, non-2 seeds, are they going to be able to replicate? And you would think so if they're returning a good nucleus from this past year's team, but we've seen a good amount of data that suggests that sometimes they don't live up to the expectations.
And you never know with a team like Duke bringing in the young guys to do it all every year.
So do I think that Shellstad, Blackwell, Knox, Fulgaris, and Padunga is a contender? Yes. A resounding yes. I do. I think the only thing that you would worry about, is the backcourt defense. Right? Backcourt defense. But
when your best defending guard's on the bench out of that lineup, that's
however, unlike this past season, you would have one of the best rim protectors in college basketball.
The most versatile defensive three in
Carter
ACC.
Knox is very good. Yeah, so you've got two really good defenders, and honestly, I think John Blackwell is a serviceable defender. Same with Shellstad. I don't think they're.
I don't know, Dalton. I think they're serviceable. Yes,
that's what I mean. Serviceable is basically average. You can work with it, right? Last year, your on-ball defense was bad, pretty bad. I don't care what the advanced numbers say. I trust what my eyes said.
If it was Michael, Ryan, or Isaac trying to guard somebody, they were getting blown.
I thought Michael wasn't that bad, man.
He got better.
I felt like Ryan and Isaac, there was a little bit to be desired with on-ball defense.
And you never really knew if Michael was 100% healthy
not to
when
mention,
he was out there, too. So.
How much is it going to help if you're playing an actual three on the floor rather than three guards, and one of them is clearly undersized?
We were at our best defensively at the end of the season this past year, when who was at the 3 spot, Dalton?
Kanai.
Or Javon Howard.
Yeah, Javon. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying is, like, I think we've kind of brainwashed ourselves into thinking that we're going to be such a horrible defensive team if our backcourt is Shellstad and Blackwell, when all reality, last year your defense improved pretty significantly, even when you had Conwell and McNeely out there, when you had a 3 on the floor. Because teams can't just exploit the size mismatch over and over and over again. And I don't have to watch a 6'4" guy try to guard Nate Ament, because that made me want to pull my hair out.
And then you're bringing your best player off the bench to come in and not be a scorer for you. There was a couple of different reasons as to why we didn't maximize our best skill sets last season, but that was a big one.
Yeah, I think if you can get John Blackwell, you are immediately a title contender. That's a good enough nucleus across college basketball. I think you're a title contender. Even if Fulgaris hasn't committed to that point, you've got 5 really solid players in a rotation that's going to be about 8 to 9 players. Yeah, you feel pretty good. You feel very good. But I'm also excited for Adrian Woolley, because I do think that he got asked to play out of position a good amount this year. Had to run the 1 because you didn't have anyone more reliable when Michael went down.
And look at those lineups when he excelled at the end of the season. Him, Ryan, and a true 3 out there.
I also don't think that roster construction did him or any other individuals any favors. But You can also make the point that he was coming over from the Conference USA. It was going to take some time for him to find his footing, and I think he did at the end of the year. I don't think that his run to end the season was like this elite level that some people want to make it out to be. It was really good. He was arguably the Cardinals' best player down the stretch. However, consistency issues, they're a problem. Wooley's next step in his development is consistent production. At least I feel like. And some have wondered, well, will the Cardinals go after Woolley and John Blackwell at the same time? Yes, without a doubt. And holding my breath here, but I'm hoping that John Blackwell is makes it to campus like he's scheduled to tomorrow. We'll discuss the latest in that recruitment when we come back. You're tuned in to Big X Sports Radio.
Louisville football fans, the 2026 schedule is here. Head coach Jeff Brom and company are set to host 6 home games in the fall, including ACC matchups against SMU and Florida State. Visit gocards.com/FBinfo to learn more about a season ticket plan that best suits your needs.
Cards fans, advance your career without interrupting it with U of L's 20-month professional MBA, the program designed specifically for busy working professionals. Combine the experience of a top-rated program with the convenience of evening classes that accommodate your schedule. Connect with industry experts, expand your professional network, and hone your business acumen. Get started today and earn your MBA. The first step is visiting business.louisville.edu/U of L MBA.
Hello, I'm Todd Metter, President and founder of TKM Financial Services here in Louisville. Listen to my live local call-in show Wednesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. on 970. A Nickel and a Plan Finance Show is real talk about all things money, done with a musical twist. Tune in and join in as we talk markets, investment strategies, and more. To schedule a free consultation, go to tkmfsllc.com or call 450-PLAN, that's 450-7526. TKM Financial Services, comprehensive in approach, client first in nature.
As a proud sponsor of the Mike Rutherford Show and Louisville Cardinals basketball, United Mechanical is committed to providing the same reliability on and off the court. United Mechanical is Kentuckiana's business-winning choice for reliable HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration services. Season after season, call United Mechanical, your trusted home team partner at 502-339-1133. That's 502-339-1133. Let's go Cards.
It's March. Let's huddle up. Cater with Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill. Flame grilled chicken, fresh salsas made daily, hand-mashed guacamole, and the star of the season, our new mango salsa. Sweet mango salsa with a hint of lime. Pile it high on tacos, bowls, or burritos. It's a slam dunk of flavor. Hosting a watch party? Score big with quesadilla trays, our Three Amigos dips, or the melty, crave-worthy queso fundido. Bring championship flavor to the table at Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill. Fresh ingredients, bold flavor, 3 locations. Visit salsaritas.com.
When design is key to your landscape project, give Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge has more experience than any landscape company in the area. Remember, Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design. When design is key to your project and you want the most experienced landscaping company in the area. Give Walnut Ridge a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design. When design is key.
At Valley View Golf Club, the game just keeps getting better. Over the last couple of seasons, Valley View has continued to add new improvements for members and guests. Enjoy the Tap-Ins dining room, now featuring 2 indoor golf simulators for year-round play. Every golf cart now includes a new GPS system to enhance your experience on the course. And to preserve the course's strategy and beauty, Valley View has planted over 120 trees in recent seasons. Valley View is also expanding its golf tournament program. Membership continues to grow, and a waiting list begins May 1st. So join today and experience everything happening at Valley View Golf Club.
Lots of sunshine for this afternoon. Very pleasant outside. Actually, slightly below normal in temperature, but you wouldn't notice it because it's so comfortable.
This is Kentuckiana's only locally owned sports talk. The Big X, AM 1450 and 96.1 FM. WXVW Jeffersonville.
Top of the hour on this week's edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence here on the Big X Sports Radio. Dalton and Roman taking you up till 7 o'clock tonight. Of course, the transfer portal closes tomorrow night at midnight, meaning that if a player wants to enter the portal and play for a different team next season, he must enter the portal tomorrow night by midnight. So we haven't really seen that wave yet, Rome, that everybody's kind of talking about could happen, right? These top names that could enter the portal that could throw things into a very interesting state. Haven't really seen that wave yet. Granted, we're about 24 hours out from the deadline, or a little bit more.
I was surprised. I thought we'd start kind of seeing it file in, but I think it'll be tonight.
You think Christian Anderson enters the portal?
I do.
You think so?
I do.
Where would he go, though?
To Louisville.
Oh, okay. Does Louisville know that?
They better. I like him more than Blackwell. I said it.
I think he's a better player than Blackwell.
All around, I think so, too.
I think that Blackwell makes more sense for this team, though.
As a jump shooter, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you need your go-to scorer. Granted, Anderson's no slouch scoring the basketball.
Also 18-point-per-game guy.
It just depends on, like,
I think Anderson's a better defender.
Well, the discussion would be centered around this. What is your vision for Jackson Shellstat? Because Shellstat can play with or off ball. Like, is he going to be your lead ball handler? Because if so, then Blackwell makes more sense. But if you want to run him more off ball, then Anderson would make sense. I think both are...
Anderson gives you more versatility with the two of them for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, Anderson and Blackwell going and getting one, those are both all-in moves. Like, you're pushing your chips to the center of the table and saying, I'm all in. Turn the cards. No pun intended.
I like it. If he puts his name in the portal and you're able to bring in a name like this, I think it gives you more versatility with your backcourt. Obviously, when you're dealing with the Jackson Shellstat, who is coming in with an injury, technically, yes, all notions have been pointed to that he's going to be good to go. It's still something that is going to be there. I think if you go the Shellstat, Blackwell, Woolley route, you need a backup point guard now too, for certain. You think you need one regardless, but it's a non-negotiable if you go the Blackwell route. If you go Anderson, now you can bring in a second combo guard.
But also think about this. I would believe that Anderson would cost more in the portal.
I think they're the same.
I think to lure Anderson into the portal, you have to be ready to pay a healthy amount. Granted, John Blackwell is going to make a lot of money too. I just think Anderson would demand more theoretically.
Seems probably the only reason he's in the portal, for being honest.
Well, yeah, that would be the only reason if somebody goes out there and makes him a Godfather offer. But how many schools could do that?
That need him?
Duke?
Not many.
I mean, but you said that need him. Duke doesn't need him, but they're the rumored school that's supposedly trying to get him into the portal. Duke does not need Christian Anderson. They really don't need John Blackwell. Because you're telling me, I guess, because if one of those two commit, well, Caleb Foster's probably going to the portal.
St. John's guard just got announced he's out for the year.
Who? Are you sure it's not UConn?
Oh, that's
solo
right.
ball.
Solo ball, UConn.
I'm wrong. UConn
I'm
would
wrong.
make sense.
But
not for Blackwell, for Anderson.
For Anderson, now
Braylon
Mullins
Mullins is coming back.
Is projected to be out.
Yeah.
I could see UConn trying to get in on that.
Okay.
But you got to pay Solo still. So, I don't know.
Yeah. And think of this as well. As it relates to Blackwell, because he's apparently visiting Duke as we speak, but he's visiting Louisville tomorrow. Don't you think, like, of course, if he leaves Duke without committing, that's great news for Louisville, but I also think that the timing of the portal helps out too, because think about it. If Blackwell leaves Duke without committing, you're still waiting on a decision from Caleb Foster. And you would think that Foster would try to make sure his spot is there first, right? Like the timing aspect of it. Because Foster would have, if Blackwell doesn't commit, and we go into Tuesday and he visits Louisville, well, you've got less than 24 hours to enter the portal. I can't imagine that Foster
Less
would.
than 12 hours to enter the portal.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that Foster would be in a wait-and-see approach because he doesn't have the time to do that. So it would make sense for him to announce that he's coming back probably as soon as possible, wouldn't you think? Maybe he's waiting to see what Blackwell does today.
Or Duke's waiting to see what Blackwell does so they can confirm the number they want to give Caleb.
But let me ask you this, though, because you can make that same point. Is Duke, I mean, you would think that they're going to be in the sweepstakes until the end, but if Blackwell really is going to wait until early May, is Duke going to, because you can't wait to give an answer to Caleb Foster. You don't have the time. If he doesn't commit tonight, what does Foster do? What does Duke do about Foster?
You got to give Foster what he wants.
Yeah, I mean,
if
because
Blackwell doesn't sign, it's a must.
Because it's hard to, because you've got a player already, right? Like, you know Foster would be back. You don't know if Blackwell's going to choose your school. And albeit John Blackwell is a much better player than Caleb Foster. But Foster's not a bad player at all. And they've got a pretty solid team, likely to have a solid team. Is Isaiah Evans going to the portal 100%? Or not to the portal, to the draft?
I believe so.
Okay. Trying to keep up with everything at the moment. 502.
Do you think that Darren Rippey Jr. is playing any role in Caleb Foster's decision?
I mean, I think that everyone at the guard spots, because here's the thing, and we'll start out 502-414-1450, the Gameday Men's Health text line, to get your thoughts in on this situation. But think about it. Duke really doesn't start three guards. They usually go with a larger lineup, right?
Yep.
So
I mean, Zion James and Isaiah Evans were.
But Isaiah Evans is 6'6".
Yeah. Zion James is the best defender on the floor when he's
exactly. So, and you would say, like, you would be starting Caden Boozer or Deron Rippey, who I believe are both 6'2". Caleb Foster, who's
Rippey's
what?
6'1".
Who?
Deron Rippey Jr.
Okay,
is 6'1".
well, 6'1", 6'2". How tall is Caleb Foster?
6'3".
Caleb Foster is 6'5".
What?
Yeah.
I'll give
And
him
John
6'4".
Blackwell is 6'4". Still, that seems pretty short for like a Duke starting lineup, because you have to think.
You don't want Foster at the 2 either.
But Foster's going to have to play the 2.
If Rippey's a starter in their eyes.
Rippey's the 1. Rippey's a point guard.
But isn't Caleb Foster a point guard?
Foster can play more off ball. But think about it. You're starting 5 at the moment for Duke, considering, like, let's say that he's not even being thought about at the moment. Like, their starting 5 for next season would be Foster and Rippey, interchangeable at the 1 and the 2. Your 3 would probably be Sarr. Your 4 would be Cam Williams, who's a top 3 player in the class. And your 5 would be Patrick Gongba, who announced his return today. That's your starting 5. And not to mention, you've got...
That's if the Bryson Howard freshman kid doesn't start, too.
Yeah, exactly. And Caden Boozer's also off the bench. That's what I'm saying. Like, this makes so much sense for Louisville. Like, I understand Duke is Duke. It's really hard to recruit against Duke. Texter says the biggest elephant in the room is McNeely.
Shouldn't have started over Woolley, but Pat had his favorite.
I mean, I think Woolley should have started.
If you wanted to play 3 guards, you needed to go with the defensive guard.
Texter also says, so I guess we're all assuming that Woolley isn't going to take a step forward. You can't question Woolley's motor and his defense. They were underrated. I can guarantee you Woolley isn't coming back to play off the bench.
I'm in the
I don't think so. I don't think that he's...
I think if Adrian Woolley's a starter with Shellstat at the point guard spot and
Here's the
Carter Knox and Badunga as defenders on the floor, that's the recipe for success for a player.
I think here's the thing about it is John Blackwell coming off the bench?
No.
So don't you think if the staff has been pretty obviously going after John Blackwell, right? They've been identifying him as a target for, 2 weeks, maybe more?
With the intention of getting Woolley on top of it, though.
So, you don't think it was asked what my role was going to be?
Had to be.
And you get Jackson Shellstad. You get Carter Knox. Knox is going to start at your 3. Shellstad is a starter. You don't convince him to come here without being a starter. Badunga's a starter. You're going to start a power forward. So that leaves one spot. Don't you think that the conversation came up about what his role was going to be?
Definitely. That's why we also got word that Woolley said he was willing to come
Texter
off the
says
bench.
Knox would have to come off the bench. Knox was a starter in the SEC the past 2 seasons. I don't see that happening, truthfully. I am a huge fan of Adrian Woolley, by the way. I just think that he's going to play a lot as a 6th man anyway. This whole idea of, well, you got to be a starter. Well, Pat Kelsey's system, you know how frequently he likes to sub. Woolley's going to play a good amount of minutes. But I just disagree. I don't think that he was promised a starting position. He was promised a good amount of playing time, and I think he's buying into the continuity aspect. But
I think also, like, you're willing to be a 6th man on a team that's the idea is to go be a Final Four team. If you believe the roster being constructed is one that's going to go have a deep run in March, you're a lot more willing to be a guy that's coming off the bench, being told,
especially if you're still making a good amount of money.
Yes, the keys to the offense as the second unit guy, you get to be guarded by lesser defenders, and you get the same money you'd be making as a starter somewhere else.
It's the Tahad Pettiford role.
I think it's ideal.
But the texter
isn't really Blackwell.
Yeah, the texter isn't really talking about, well, he would replace Blackwell. He's saying that it would be a 3-guard lineup with Knox coming off the bench.
I wouldn't be surprised, is my thing about Pat Kelsey.
I mean, I'm not writing it off, but I don't think it's like
coaching staff.
I don't think it's set in stone.
With the new coaching staff, you didn't bring in 2 new coaches that come from systems that have been built on using bigger guys and bigger personnel to come and run a 3-guard lineup.
I don't think it's going to be a 3-guard lineup. I think at times they will run a 3-guard lineup. I think 100% there will be times. However, I feel like it's hard to convince Carter Knox to turn down North Carolina for a bench role at Louisville. Knox was a starter at Arkansas this past year in the SEC.
I also think that these guys this staff would be very willing to throw him down there at that 4 spot.
Texter says Woolley and Blackwell could be as interchangeable as Luke and Blackshear was. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a regular piece in the rotation, nobody cared that Luke Hancock was coming off the bench because it was seen as such a huge advantage because Blackshear was a really good starter, and then Hancock came in and gave you the spark off the bench. I think that's what Woolley's role was going to be. The issue is that you're not convincing John Blackwell, and you're not paying him as much as you would be paying him to be a 6-man. He just averaged basically 20 points per game in arguably the best conference of basketball. So he's not coming off the bench.
My next question to you, Dalton.
But then again, I am a huge Adrian Woolley fan who believes he's going to take a step forward.
Let's test how big of an Adrian Woolley fan you are. Say something goes south for whatever reason. We know how it can be this time of year in the portal. Say something goes south with this Alvaro commitment, and they don't get that big name for, that big presence for in. But they got Woolley back, they got Knox, and they bring Blackwell in.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about a Shellstad, Blackwell, Woolley, Knox, Badunga? Where do you think that ceiling is for that team? Because you're probably going to go bring in a 7-footer to bring on the bench. I know there's a big some power forward names for those guys that are planning to be role players. You're gonna have the size on the bench.
It just depends on how long you want to run that 3-guard lineup because you saw how it doesn't work to the highest level. Knox is not a 4. Knox is a wing. He's a 3. And Texter asked, what if they played Knox in the Hadley role?
That's what we're talking about, yeah.
Then you're playing him wrong. Javon Hadley, you saw the data. Hadley was so much better as a 3 last year, the past 2 seasons. Now, he had to play the 4 out of necessity, but he was so much better and more effective as a 3. It's going to be the same way with Knox. You go get Knox to give you that advantage on the perimeter, and you go out and you get a guy like Fulgaris. And if you, for whatever reason, this doesn't happen, we aren't able to speak it into existence, if we're not able to speak it into existence, you still have to go out there and find a 4. I can't watch what I watched this past year and say that a 6'1", 6'4", and 6'4" backcourt is going to be the recipe for success, even if I have a solid rim protector and a good defender at the 4, because you're playing Knox out of position. The good news is you don't have to do any of this. You can go out and get your 4, play Knox at the 3, and have 2 guys in the backcourt. You can run a 3-guard backcourt depending on like who you're going up against.
Yeah, there's teams you're going to be able to match up with like that.
You saw how it just does not work.
I think it'd be better than any 3-guard lineup in the ACC that's employing Isaac McNeely at the 3 spot.
Yeah, exactly. But
it's still not going to work defensively.
Is it going to work against the Dukes of the world?
No.
Is it going to work against the Michigans of the world?
No.
The UConn? Okay.
But with the way that Pat Kelsey's maneuvered, I just wouldn't be surprised.
Your goal? It doesn't matter how he's maneuvered, in my opinion. He showed me this offseason that he knows what needs to be changed. And forgive me, but I'll have a little bit of skepticism if they run a 3-guard lineup out there next year.
I'll have a lot.
Because you just saw, and maybe individually and collectively the backcourt's better defensively, and you have some better defenders in the front court. But I'm sorry, you're having the same problem. You're telling me that John Blackwell is going to guard somebody 6'9", 6'10"? Same with Adrian Woolley? Texter says, also been hearing that Fulgaris is committed but hasn't announced yet because of contracts and visa stuff. Not for sure, but things are pointing more that way. I mean, what else would really it be pertaining to, right? Like, what else is holding things back?
Everything that's been pitched to him was enough to make him want to commit. That's all it could be. Or the agent.
Let me make this point. Here you go.
He dropped it at the airport, maybe.
Or maybe he is just waiting for the balloon glow to announce.
They want to see how Derby is first.
Gosh, can you imagine he's committed all the way up until Derby? But I'll say this. Don't take this me saying that I don't think Woolley should be a starter as like a belief that I'm not a fan of Woolley. I have been very vocally supportive of him. I think he got kind of a tough draw this past year because of the roster construction and what he got asked to do. I think his best days in the ACC are well ahead of him, and I think he could be a really good off-ball scorer. But when you're talking about a contender and you see some of the players coming off the bench at these schools, I just think that you still need an alpha go-to scorer. Is Adrian Woolley that player? He could be, but can you answer that definitively on April 20th? And I just don't think you can. I don't think you can. There's nothing wrong with that because I think Woolley is definitely a rotational player on a national championship contender. But we didn't talk about it this segment because we got a little bit off track, but we're going to talk a little bit more about the John Blackwell recruitment timeline, how it might work in Louisville's favor, but something specific has to happen. What's understood doesn't need to be explained. We'll discuss more when we come back. You're tuned into Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Greg Coates Cars and Trucks. I'm Tammy Coates.
And I'm Bjorn Coates. And this is Teddy Coates. And he loves big trucks.
And if you like big trucks, you've come to the right place. Wait, where's Teddy?
Tatters! My baby! Oh, no, he's got the big truck!
Go. Hi, this is Dalton Pence with Big X Sports Radio with a message to you from Collier Law Firm. Have you been injured in an accident or on the job? The Collier Law Firm's got your back. The Collier Law Firm is more than just a typical injury law firm. It's a team of former insurance defense attorneys and paralegals with unbeaten experience. And with attorney fees starting at just 25%, Collier Law Firm puts more money back in your pocket because they have your back, not your wallet. Don't settle for less. Trust Louisville's own Tony Collier and the Tony Collier Law Firm to get you the best results. Visit us today at CollierLawFirm.com. That's COLYER lawfirm.com.
Calling all young golfers. The PGA Junior League at Old Capitol Golf Club is the perfect way to learn the game, make new friends, and compete in a fun, team-based environment. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, our PGA Junior League is coached by PGA professionals, helping kids build confidence on and off the course. Join the team and experience golf like never before. Sign up today at Old Capitol Golf Club and let's tee it up. Visit oldcapitalgolf.com to register now.
Honey Baked Ham in New Albany is the perfect spot for a healthy alternative to fast food. They provide a variety of freshly made sandwiches, as well as salads and delicious soups. And you can dine in or take it to go. They also have many dinner options such as ham, turkey, frozen sides, and desserts, which provide a complete meal. Catering is also available for small groups or large gatherings. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 812-941-9426, or visit them, 3602 Northgate Court, Suite 23 in New Albany.
Roosters is the place to watch your favorite teams play. From college to the pros, Roosters has all the games. Plus, you're going to love the food at Roosters. Come watch the games and enjoy 79-cent boneless wings every Monday. Roosters with 6 Kentuckiana locations: Dixie Highway, Preston Highway, Fern Creek, Shelbyville Road, Springhurst, and in Clarksville.
The plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC technicians of Local 502's commitment to excellence can be seen in our community every day. The KFC Yum Center, Ford Motor Company, and the Omni Hotel are just a few examples of their professional craftsmanship. Local 502 has been part of our community for over a century and invests over $1 million annually training skilled local workers. Members of Local 502 are your friends, neighbors, and children's coaches. For more information, go to lu502.com. Local 502, built on excellence, building a better tomorrow.
It's time to put your tax refund to work and enter your chance to win a $1,000 gift card at Miller's Mini Barn Tax Refund Sale. Choose from our Amish handcrafted outdoor furniture, durable sheds, barns, and pavilions, to our expanded line of pergolas and outdoor kitchens and grills. Let Miller's new management team help you create your perfect outdoor living experience. Save up to 25% and win a gift card now through May 31st. Visit us at 5217 Charlestown Road, New Albany, or in Salem, Indiana, and online at millersminibarns.com. Miller's, creating spaces that feel like home.
Louisville's longest-running pro sports team is back. Come check out Louisville Bats Baseball at Louisville Slugger Field. Family-friendly entertainment at budget-friendly prices inside the best minor league ballpark in America. See the Cincinnati Reds of tomorrow up close and personal today. And the Bats promotional schedule is something for everyone. For a full look at the 2026 schedule and to plan your day at the ballpark, talk to a real person at 502-212-BATS or head to batsbaseball.com.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Greg Coates Cars and Trucks. I'm Buren Coates.
And I'm Tammy Coates. At Greg Coates Cars and Trucks, we always give you our best price with the least investment down and the lowest possible monthly installments.
And for over 60 years, the very best customer service.
Two segments down, 2 segments to go here on this April 20th edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence here on the Big X Sports Radio. Dalton and Roman taking you up to about 7 o'clock tonight. If you've been paying attention throughout the show today, we are, well, Roman, we're running out of time, man. About 36 minutes left.
Come on, Alvaro. Pick it up.
Mr. Folgaris, all we are asking is that you publicly commit.
Andale.
By the time that we... Well, I mean, it would almost have to be like 26 minutes because we'd have to, like, be able to take a victory lap, right?
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, 6:59, he's committed. See y'all later. Go Cards.
I want to get chesty a little bit, too. We need this in, like, the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. Take a long victory lap. But
we didn't really get into much on his aspect of this potential roster construction much, Dalton. I know you got something set up here. But
no, yeah, go ahead.
He's the perfect kind of 4 build when you've got a Carter Knox at the 3. Versatile, can guard 1 through 4, 1 through 5 if it's the right 5, right? You've got Floyd Badungu who can guard 2 through 5, even the 1 if it's the right kind of a 1. And then you've this Alvaro Forgueras who's maybe not as laterally quick, maybe not doesn't have the vertical that these guys have. He's got that brawny dog
Well, he can shoot the ball
mentality,
too, right? He can
and
shoot.
he stretches the floor.
You know, another thing
He
that
can pass the ball too. He's got that.
Here's the thing. That's
that
what I was going
pocket
to mention. Matt McGavick pointed this out in the 1912 Discord. He was number 6 in the country in assist ratio for players over 6'9". So there is your Ali Khalifa replacement. The only difference is this guy is more athletic. He's able to be more physical in the paint. He plays more in the paint. Fulgaris has the skill set that complements Flory Badunga really well. Can stretch the floor, doesn't have to be in the paint to be effective. I also think that he got played out of position a good amount this year at Iowa. He was a 5 when in reality he's a natural 4. Iowa is notorious for having like the slowest pace, lowest amount of total possessions per game.
So they kind of get away with it.
Yeah, but you would imagine if you're looking at his statistics, like, oh, well, he doesn't really bring much to the table from a numbers perspective. It was like, well, he got played out of position, and the pace of play was just really, really slow. But I think that he fits what you're looking for at the 4, and that's why I'm like, dude, just commit. Just commit. Even if your agent's phone died and you're not able to hear from him in a month, just commit now. And if your agent gets mad, well, take him to Dizzy Whiz to make it all better. Take him to Ollie's Trolley to get a burger to make it all better.
Get him to Ollie's.
I'm more of a Dizzy Whiz guy myself.
I like Ollie's, man. It's those fries, perfect amount of grease on that burger. The line, though, is a bit.
Hey, the Dizzy Whiz line was pretty hectic today, too, though, so I suppose it evens out. But 502-414-1450, 502-414-1450 to get your thoughts in to the Game Day Men's Health text line. Rome, the John Blackwell visit. He's visiting Duke today, apparently, and everyone's just kind of holding their breath because things are looking nicely for the Cardinals unless he shuts his recruitment down before the visit. Give me a gut feeling. Do you think he takes the visit to Louisville tomorrow?
I think he does. I've got a weird gut feeling that this does get stretched into May.
I feel like that's just the way that he's sort of handled things thus far. Like the original commitment date is May 4th. That's a week before the NBA draft combine. That's still a couple weeks away. May 4th is, feels like forever from now in portal timeline. But visited UCLA last week. Didn't really speed things up. Took his time, even though Louisville and Duke both flew out to see him. Scheduled the Duke visit for Monday, which it's still it's tough to recruit against Duke, even though you got like your first head-to-head victory over them in like my lifetime with Flory Badunga. But if you can get that final visit, gosh, it just feels like Pat Kelsey's been so good at closing the deal for on-campus visits.
He doesn't lose recruits once they come and visit.
He did lose Deshaun Good.
Good was the first time that's happened in 3 years.
Is that the only time that it's happened? That he's had a portal player on campus that he's
made that up on the spot, but I can't think of another one.
The second second portal window, you had Woolley, McNeely, and Conwell, and that was it. That's who you went after.
You lost Nate Ament, but
Coleman Hawkins didn't visit, did he? He was supposed to and then canceled the visit,
He
right?
did because he went straight to K-State, right?
Yeah. Trying to think of anyone else. Omar Ballo was supposed to visit but didn't.
It's only been the freshmen we've missed out on.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else in that first cycle that he missed on that visited. Anyway, point that we're trying to make here is that he's got a pretty good closing rate. It just, this feels almost like too good to be true. Louisville is seemingly adamant that they're not going to get beat financially in this recruitment. And you're the school with the perfect role for him, Rome. Basically, what you're offering is, hey, man, we're going to pay you just as much as anyone else, if not more. And, oh, by the way, this is your team. We need a go-to alpha scorer at the 2. You are a perfect fit for what we need. here's the keys to the kingdom. Come lead us to being a contender. And, oh, by the way, you get to play with Flory Badunga, Jackson Shellstat, Adrian Woolley, Carter Knox, potentially Alvaro Folgueras. What more could you want? I understand the family aspect with Illinois, but Andrei Stojakovic is back. They went out and got the transfer from Providence. Where does he fit in the Illinois rotation? I mean, I'm sure that Brad Underwood can make something work, but would those Illinois players be okay with adding another high-usage player? We just mentioned it with Duke. There's a logjam right now in the backcourt. UCLA, maybe, right? I mean, the issue is like, I don't know how good UCLA is going to be next year. They lose a lot of their players, don't they? I mean, Donovan Dent's gone. Sky Clark's gone.
They're not winning out there.
They did win a tournament game, though. They won one tournament game. But it's not hard to see why Louisville is like number 1 or number 2 in this recruitment because, like, Rome, what else? What's Louisville lacking in their pitch? Money? No. Role? No. Fit? No. Opportunity? No.
It's all, look what we did in March.
Talent around you? No. Like, that would be it.
We don't have the look what we've done the last 2 years pitch.
But
like
don't
the UConns and
but
the
don't
Dukes
you
and all
think
those
like
teams have.
yeah I agree on that, but don't you think like there's something to be said about, okay, well, yeah, Duke has the success, but what about your fit on the team versus, well, Louisville might not have had the historical success, but look at the team that they're building. They're asking you to come in to be the go-to scorer that you're comfortable being. I don't know, man. It feels like just too good to be true. Like, this is just too good of a fit for Blackwell and for Louisville.
Make it happen. They know this. He has to know this by now. I mean, there's not a better role. You get to be the guy. You get to go be in a system that isn't going to fully rely on you. You're going to have defenders around you. You've just named it. You've named everything. Not to mention you get
you're
to feel
going to
like,
get to be the guy, but you don't have to be Superman every game.
Exactly. And you get to feel like Superman anytime you walk around town. You don't even get that at most schools. Unless you're like coming off of a national championship.
Okay, so something that's been happening. Somebody mentioned on Discord that Great Osibor. First portal window. I'm pretty sure he visited campus.
You may be right on that.
Missed out on Maverick Rowan, too.
Whatever.
And Cat Barber. And Alonzo Trier. And Trey Lyles.
Nick's GOAT right there.
And Marcus Teague.
Trey Lyles.
And Ray Smith.
Ray Smith. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Him and Alonzo Trier were in the same class and both went to Arizona, and I thought Louisville was going to land both. And Dane Danger. Theo Penson. Gosh, I could go on and on, but I won't. Let me ask you this before we head to break here in a couple minutes. So you're seeing players like today, Seth Trimble's one, Cade Tyson is another. Players without eligibility are entering the portal, hoping in anticipation that this 5-for-5 rule passes. I'm going to ask you a two-part question, Rome. Number one, do you think it passes?
Yes.
But number two, do you think it will grandfather in the 4-year seniors from this year?
Yes. I think it passes because there's enough higher-ups in college basketball that want it to pass, and I think they want to avoid all the lawsuits that will come if they don't give the grandfather kids that last year.
But let me ask you this.
Even though half those grandfather kids already got that year, Dalton.
Does Ryan Conwell want to come back? Do you think that's...
He probably... I mean, the wisest decision for Ryan Conwell would be to come back. I think when you know that your name's getting tossed around, you know you're going to get a little summer league interest, and you've already done this.
Would you rather have Conwell or Blackwell?
Ooh. With Woolley coming back?
Because you obviously couldn't get both. Or maybe you could, and then you just go full all in.
Because at the moment, we have no lefty on the team. I don't want to go into year 3 without a lefty, Dalton. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Woolie's back. I'm crazy.
I was
Andrea
about to say,
Woolie's
I was
back.
like,
Woolie's back.
my man,
I'm wrong.
What are you talking about?
I mean, I think that Blackwell's scoring game ultimately is deeper. He's got a deeper bag. When you look at the mid-range shots, he's able to take the tough shots from those long floating areas, the 6 foot to 8 foot range. He can hit tough shots there. I'm not saying Ryan's limited in those areas, especially in an offense where he's going to be allowed to do those things. We don't even know really, but I don't know. Do you want the better jump shooter? Or do you want the better all-around scorer? They're pretty even defensively.
Yeah, Blackwell's you'd say he's the better shooter from a percentage standpoint.
I think catch and shoot, you're going to trust Ryan more.
Yeah.
So
the issue is like last year, Ryan had to also play out of position for a good amount of the year. So, gosh, this is tough. Because obviously you're going all in for Blackwell, right? I mean, you can't just bank on the possibility that this could happen. I mean, your hope would be, Conwell would have to enter the portal in the next, 32 hours? 30 hours?
No, it'd be the next 18 hours, wouldn't it?
No, midnight.
Oh, it's midnight
Tuesday
tomorrow.
night.
I keep thinking it's the middle of the day tomorrow.
No, you're good. Yeah, so he'd have to enter the portal. I mean, the best case scenario, I think realistically, if you land Blackwell is, or maybe, gosh, it's just so hard to, how do you bank on the 5-for-5 passing? That's tough to do.
There's no way it gets passed before the summer's.
But you just said you think it passes. Because at that point,
but it's already
if it passes
it's already
before,
May.
But let me ask you, if it passes before, let's say in the summer, then how is it going to include guys that are grandfathered in?
I've already graduated. Right?
I think it passes, but it doesn't include the grandfathered in players.
But if you're a grandfathered, if you're a tier down from a Ryan Conwell type of player, a starting caliber ACC guy in year 4, and you're done,
you wouldn't be able to play anything professional though. I feel like. All right, honestly, maybe you could. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. See, this is where it's
if you're one of those kids who isn't going to go get a summer league spot more likely than not, you're trying to go find what second-tier European team is going to give you a chance, give you a shot. And you could double the money that you're going to make or even triple the money you're going to make because the school you just played at wants you back for a 5th year. You would go sue if you got told you're not allowed to have that, and the kids going forward are allowed to have that.
Yeah, it's hard.
I would want to sue. I probably wouldn't, but I would want to.
It's just kind of ironic because it's like no one else has really, outside of the COVID years, like this has never been a thing in college basketball, and it's almost like, well, now we deserve it.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's like, well,
Rain would have been back for another year. Chucky would have been back for another year. Like so many kids.
Maybe Terrence. Well, no, Terrence was a 5th year, wasn't he? Here's the thing. I think the best course of action is to implement the rule in the fall. Create the rule in the fall. So there is no worry about.
It starts now. Starts in the 2026, 2027
Exactly,
season.
yeah. Doesn't start last year.
If you can do that if you can avoid lawsuits and do that, that's the best route.
The issue is, in theory, it sounds good, but in practice, the NCAA is losing in court like every time, and the courts are siding with the players. So it's like, yeah, this sounds good, but all it takes is that temporary restraining order and a player's playing again. So I don't know, man. I kind of go back and forth on it, but I would love to see Ryan Conwell back in a Louisville uniform. I just don't know that it would happen. But, hey, we will see what happens. But we're going to head to break. We have one more segment to go. We're going to talk about a couple front court pieces that Louisville is reportedly interested in. One of them is supposed to be on campus on Thursday. You're tuned into Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio.
Going after Carter Knox like this, heavily pursuing him and then landing him, This is the biggest piece of evidence that we are going to play a significantly different style. We are moving away from trying to mimic the Golden State Warriors type offense. If you're trying to play that style with the guys that we're bringing in, it ain't going to work. And I think Pat Kelsey is smart enough to know that.
The Mike Rutherford Show, weekday afternoons at 2:30, followed by the Ticket Punchers at 5:30 on the Big X Sports Radio.
Hi, this is Dalton Pence with Big X Sports Radio. Are you looking to make your backyard dreams come true? All-America Pool has been installing state-of-the-art in-ground pools for over 50 years. A family business in Louisville, they offer everything from retail, parts, service, to above-ground and in-ground construction. Give them a call at 502-448-0300 or visit them at 4646 Dixie Highway in the South End. That's All-America Pool.
Options. When it comes to insurance, that's exactly what you deserve. I'm Chad Hennessy with InsureMax, and I've been proudly serving the Louisville area for over 25 years. As an independent agent, we work with Auto Owners Insurance to find coverage that fits you, not the other way around. InsureMax delivers strength, service, and peace of mind through partners like Auto Owners Insurance. More choices, more options. Call me, Chad Hennessy, at 502-479-4085.
There is nothing better than a great golf outing. The Christmas Lake Golf Course in Santa Claus. You'll love the scenery and especially the fully stocked golf shop with great prices. Christmas Lake Golf Course offers Monday and Tuesday specials along with afternoon and twilight specials too. Call 877-XMIS-GOLF. That's 877-962-7465 option 1. Or go to ChristmasLakeGolfClub.com for more information on the upcoming events at Christmas Lake Golf Course in Santa Claus, Indiana.
When design is key to your landscape project, give Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge has more experience than any landscape company in the area. Remember, Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design. When design is key to your project and you want the most experienced landscaping company in the area. Give Walnut Ridge a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design. When design is key.
At Valley View Golf Club, the game just keeps getting better. Over the last couple of seasons, Valley View has continued to add new improvements for members and guests. Enjoy the Tap-Ins dining room, now featuring 2 indoor golf simulators for year-round play. Every golf cart now includes a new GPS system to enhance your experience on the course. And to preserve the course's strategy and beauty, Valley View has planted over 120 trees in recent seasons. Valley View is also expanding its golf tournament program. Membership continues to grow, and a waiting list begins May 1st. So join today and experience everything happening at Valley View Golf Club.
The plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC technicians of Local 502's commitment to excellence can be seen in our community every day. The KFC Yum Center, Ford Motor Company, and the Omni Hotel are just a few examples of their professional craftsmanship. Local 502 has been part of our community for over a century and invests over $1 million annually training skilled local workers. Members of Local 502 are your friends, neighbors, and children's coaches. For more information, go to lu502.com. Local 502, built on excellence, building a better tomorrow.
There's not a better feeling to have a smile on your face after getting your car serviced. That's how it works at Consolidated Tire and Auto Care. Serving Kentuckiana for over 3 decades, fixing brakes, putting tires on, and servicing your car. And now, from a new and improved location at 3305 Preston Highway. Want to get your car running right and keep it that way? Get to Consolidated Tire and Auto Care, 3305 Preston Highway. Got a question? You can call them at 456-2220. Consolidated Tire and Auto Care, total car care, and the best brake job in town.
.644 here on this April 20th edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence. We've got one segment left to go. The clock is running out on Roman and I speaking into existence the public commitment of Iowa forward Alvaro Folgueras. Hopefully, we can beat the buzzer here in this segment, but Louisville is reportedly interested in a couple of other front court pieces. Both of these players would be players that would come off the bench and be role players. Which do you want to talk about first, Rome?
Let's get into what we've got coming in for the role side, guys.
The what?
The role-playing side.
Well, that would be both. Both of the players that we're talking about.
Yeah, the planned visit for Thursday.
Okay, there we go. Gabe Dines, 7'5", 214 pounds. Played at USC this past year after 2 seasons with Youngstown State. With the Penguins, he averaged 3.1 blocks per game and 2.3 blocks per game. This past season at USC, played but wasn't a huge member of the rotation. 12 minutes per game, averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds. But he's 7'5". Moves really well for his size. He's from Independence, Kentucky. Forgive me, but I think that's major UK country. It's about an hour, 30 minutes up I-71, kind of close to the Cincinnati area, up in that northern Kentucky pocket. But he's visiting Kentucky on Wednesday and set to visit Louisville on Thursday. Rome, do you get the sense that this could be like a way for Mark Pope to try to manufacture a win over Louisville?
Potentially.
That's what people think. That's what I'm seeing some people put out there on social media, that they think this is a plot to get Pope a recruiting win over Pat Kelsey.
At this point, though, he just needs any small wins he can get for the
If
sake of the
that's the
program.
recruiting win you want, by all means, go get it.
Stop worrying about competing with Louisville. You need to just go and get whatever you can at this point. Couple nice pieces.
But I do think it would be pretty intriguing to have a 7'5" backup center. He's pretty involved with the pick and roll, operating as the roll man on those screens.
I mean, just
moves well for 7'5". I still question how he's going to move in a system that operates in transition.
Those 3 or 4 minutes we could potentially get of a lineup that has Carter Knox at the 2. That's very intriguing.
That's what Kenny Payne wanted to do. Kenny Payne wanted 1 guard and four forwards. But 7'5", I could keep coming back to that point. 7'5". At the very least, I would, if you're not paying a ton for him. The issue is that he's also scheduled to visit Kansas later in the week as well, and another school. I forget, I don't know if it's St. John's or NC State or someone, but with the schools involved, feels like somebody's going to overpay for him. Usually when those 4 schools are involved, somebody's overpaying. Would you overpay for the backup 5?
No.
Knowing that he's going to play about 12 minutes a game?
No.
Okay.
You can go get a 6'11", 7-foot even guy who's going to do everything he can do in those 12 minutes. I get the block numbers in those 11, 12 minutes per game are outrageous. Can he do that for more than that? More minutes than that a night?
You wouldn't be asking him to do that. But, think of it this way. If Flory Badunga gets in foul trouble, which he's really good at not fouling, but if he were to get in foul trouble, are you comfortable? I guess Folgaris could play at the 5 if he were to ever commit. But are you able to play Dines 20 minutes a night?
You're going to have to be.
Is he going to be able to run the floor? I know he runs the floor well at 7'5", but can he do that for 20 minutes a night?
I think you want him to.
How effective would he be?
Feels like a disaster.
The other name is Yak Yak from Oregon State.
Yak can play.
I'm a huge fan of his game. I know the numbers don't really suggest it, averaging 6.6 points per game, but he came from the NBA Global Academy. He's from Adelaide in South Australia, and played at, New Mexico State his first year. Then he didn't play the year after that, but he played at Oregon State this past season and shot 51% from the field. And there's a skill set there that he can knock down the mid-range shot and the three-point shot. Now, you're not, drawing up plays to get him those shots, but he can step out and hit a mid-range shot. And he plays with like a ton of tenacity as well. Ton of tenacity on both ends of the floor. I would almost rather have Yak Yak than Gabe Dines.
I think I would too.
Texter says, sorry, the monitor screen went off. Texter says, what's quote-unquote overpaying? Sounds like we're having a Zoom call with the 7-footer from Charleston. He would be my top option. I feel like I'm going to say his name wrong. Is it Chol Machat? Is that how you say it? The conference defensive player of the year averaged 9 and 5.5 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, 7 foot, 190 pounds from Melbourne.
Yeah.
That's your backup center right there.
Chol Cole Machat. Not quite sure if it's Chol or Cole, but
is it Machat or is it Machat?
I think it's Machat.
Okay. Started 15 of the 32 games, played about 20 minutes per night. Yeah, no, I think he fits what you're looking for at the backup 5. What's overpaying? I mean, I don't think it's a specific number that you can put out there. It's like, would you overpay to have Evangelos Zugris back? Would you overpay to bring Mo Kamara back?
I mean, we just say overpay, meaning they're getting paid more money for what their role will be.
Exactly.
Not necessarily
and I
their
guess
skill set.
With the way that the market is inflated, maybe there is no such thing as overpaying to an extent.
Overpaying at Louisville is different than overpaying at another school.
Exactly. So that would be my top option at the backup 5. And I'm really glad that you're seeing the Cardinals conduct a Zoom call. But, hey, I would think getting him on a visit is the next step in the process, no?
Seems like the kind of kid you want in. Not going to be as pricey as the Dines kid. Seems like he may be. Clearly has some skill in the pick and roll. Can go grab some boards. Not going to be the type of player you're relying on to do much at this level other than just be that factor for you off the bench to give your bigs rest. So I think that this is the better option if something goes south.
Okay.
With the projected starters, I should say.
Apparently, Jamie Shaw, I think on 3.
Yeah, just saw this.
Fulgaris to Louisville is his prediction. Alvaro, we only have a couple more minutes, man. That sucks. I was hoping we would get the commitment. Watch the commitment happen at like 7:05.
That, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised.
He's sitting there listening like, oh, you're not going to get the satisfaction of being able to talk about this on air. But I like looking at the 3 options that we just talked about for backup centers. I think ranking them in terms of how much I'd want them to come to Louisville to fill that role. Number 1 would be the Charleston center, Machat or Machat. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. The second one would be Yak Yak. And the third one would be Gabe Dines. I think that's my order. But it doesn't seem like Louisville was reportedly interested in Yak, but you haven't really heard anything else. So you would think that a player that they're hosting on a visit is higher up the priority list than someone who's not. But who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, man. 502-414-1450 to get any final thoughts in to the Game Day Men's Health text line. 502-414-1450 to get any final thoughts in to the text line. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? Let's see. Somebody just texted me something. Somebody asked, did Alvaro just commit? I'm not seeing anything anywhere.
No?
I don't think so. No? I don't see anything anywhere. So I have no clue. I got excited for a second. I was like, hold on. Did he beat the buzzer?
I want to get word on like a plane or something leaving Duke.
Did you see the rumors out there that he's traveling by train? You see that in the Discord? Traveling by train to catch a plane? Going from Durham to Charlotte in a train, and then catching a flight from Charlotte to Louisville.
I did not see this.
I mean, I think it was debunked pretty fast, but I learned today that apparently Kentucky is very far behind on train usage in the state compared to others.
Still probably use horses in parts of the state.
But anyways, you got a couple minutes left. What do you think about Jason Bean getting traded?
I thought that was pretty wild.
I looked at my phone and said, whoa, what?
I think that when you look at how games have gone for the Kings and how we haven't really utilized the clock as well as you should offensively, use the guy that's going to get down there and move that ball quicker with his feet.
I mean, I thought that Bean I thought Bean was playing better.
Bean's got
but
already like the most deep ball completions in the league.
But do you think that Chandler Rogers is like far and away a better player, though? I think he brings a different aspect, like
yes, I think
the mobility.
He's better for our system to coincide with the UFL rules.
Okay.
We're not running the ball well. We need to get the ball to scoring positions quicker.
And then they released Benny Snell.
He's slow. Yeah, he brings the fans in.
So
He's got the energy,
is James Robinson RB1?
RB1. Bring in Rodgers to run the QB1. We've got two guys who can actually use their feet now in those two spots. Let's get into the red zone.
Screw it. Lucky Jackson down there somewhere. Isaiah Winstead down there somewhere.
Throw it up to him.
Zach Davidson down there somewhere. He's a dog. I'm really glad they got that first win, man. Hoping that it's going to be a tough one this weekend on the road.
It is, but got to start stringing some wins together.
2-2 on
Feels like
Derby.
They do keep making drastic changes after each game.
I'm about to say, the changes seem very impulsive.
Doesn't matter if it's win or loss now.
Yeah. It feels like there's some pretty drastic changes like after every game. And maybe that's the way that the UFL is. I don't know. You and I are pretty new to this league.
Having fun, though.
Oh, having a ton of fun. Having a ton of fun. We got another minute or so before we head out. Rome, you got any plays for tonight?
We do, Dalton. We've got a few for tonight. We've already dropped them on the Ticket Punchers Twitter page if you want to go look into that. But a couple of plays for tonight. We're rocking with James Harden again on the 17.5 points over, along with the C.J. McCollum 17.5 points over as well. Got a couple of NHL plays, rocking with the Dallas Stars money line, rocking with the Carolina Hurricanes money line. 4 plays right there just gave out to our listeners. Let's go make some money.
Let's go make some money indeed. We're going to wrap things up a little bit.
Come on, Alvaro!
Tonight because, well, Alvaro Fulgaris, unfortunately,
we better be predicting what number you're wearing this time next week.
He didn't commit while we were on air. My sincerest apologies to the Mondays with Dalton Pence faithful listening to Big X Sports Radio. Appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, Matt Childress doesn't have anything better to do than be here next Monday night. But we'll see you then. Go Cards.